And let us receive our brother student minister, Dr. Wesley Muhammad.
In the most holy name of Allah, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom our holy praises are forever due. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah. I bear witness that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is his living and exalted Christ. Now further bear witness that the Honorable Brother Minister Louis Farrakhan is the divine reminder, the apostle of God, the Messiah in our midst. In their names I greet you, family. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
To great brother Saeed, great job, beloved. To study group coordinator, student minister Kenneth Muhammad. Thank you for your words of introduction. Thank you for hosting an event such as this, a discussion, a conversation such as this. I won't go long at all, inshallah. But those who know me know I must go deep.
Come on.
Than what is on the surface, deeper than most have gone on the subject. And when we move beyond the surface, family, of anything, when we penetrate the surface of a subject and go any measure of depth in it, things at a deeper level aren't as tidy as things seen on the surface level.
Right.
So inevitably, by going deep on the subject is problematized for us. And that's fine. That's actually good. If we go even deeper, we find a resolution to the problem. And so we are discussing today because you have put this great lecture series together on the law of attraction. Now, okay, you all see that blue screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, praise belongs to Allah. The law of attraction. It's a very, very popular subject. Some would even say, pessimistically, it has become a cliche subject. There is a whole cottage industry, if you would, of books on understanding and accessing the law of attraction. And of course, for those who aren't necessarily familiar, in brief, the law of attraction says the thoughts we send out are what we get back in our life, be it positive thinking or negative thinking, that our thinking shapes our life. Now, beyond that, of course, taking that several steps further, you have, for example, Rhonda Byrne, who published The Secret. And of course, 35 million people purchased The Secret. And what is The Secret? The secret is how to According to the book, The Secret is how to use the law of attraction to determine our life, to determine the conditions of our life. And then Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, the power of positive thinking. There's a whole industry of law of attraction books and courses. And why would there not be? Right? Who does not want to be in control of our life? Who does not want to have agency in determining our reality? We all want the secret on how to manifest our destiny. I would ask us to reflect on something. If 35 million people on the planet purchased Rhonda Byrne's The Secret on how to use the law of attraction to manifest your own reality. They call it manifestation, a physical actualization of our thoughts. If 35 million people on the planet purchased and availed themselves of Rhonda Byrne's The Secret, if 20 million human beings bought and read Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, the question I would like us to reflect on is, what percentage of that 35 million who purchased The Secret, after reading it, went on to become wealthy? What would you suspect? How many of the 20 million that purchased Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, how many, what percentage would you suspect after reading that text through their thinking grew rich? What percentage would you suspect? I suspect that there is a percentage of individuals who, after reading The Secret, after reading Think and Grow Rich, I'm sure there's a percentage of individuals who subsequently went on to be very successful in life, went on to get out of life precisely what they wanted. I suspect that there is a percentage of individuals who, after taking courses on manifestation, are qualified to come back and give personal testimony on how their life went as they desired. I have no doubt that there is a percentage of such persons. Whether the course their life took after reading the book is directly related to their reading of the book, or whether other aspects of their life, other decisions that they made, led to those outcomes, I don't know. But what I do know is the majority of the 35 million readers of Rhonda Byrne's The Secret, their life did not necessarily go according to their visualized script. a large proportion, I dare say the majority of the 20 million readers of Hill's Think and Grow Rich, despite their constant thinking, did not grow rich. And so this raises the question, if the law of attraction is a unbiased, universal principle available and accessible to all human beings, what is the criteria by which some users benefit from it while other users don't? What criteria distinguishes successful users versus failed users of this law of attraction? Have you ever thought about that or considered that? I would say, dear family, the law of attraction is real, but its power is out of the reach and inaccessible to most human beings today. Regardless to how many power of positive thinking books one has read or manifestation courses one has enrolled in, the real power of the law of attraction is inaccessible to most humans. That does not deny the reality of the principle, but it forces us to have a deeper understanding of the principle. Because in science, it's not a scientific fact unless the theory is reproducible. I can achieve something in my laboratory, and I publish the results of my experiment. But what I accomplished in my lab does not become a scientific reality until and unless the same process that I engaged in my lab is carried out in other labs with the same result. That's the scientific process. So if all of us are reciting the same mantras, if all of us are engaging in the same manifestation techniques, but some of us achieve our goals and others of us don't, what are the implications of that? Now, this is important because everyone online right now, everyone present in the audience right now, every single one of us want to know how to change our personal condition. And if what is said of the law of attraction can help me change my personal condition, then sign me up. So I will repeat my conclusion and then get at it. The law of attraction is real, but its power is out of the reach and inaccessible to most human beings today. regardless to how many power of positive thinking books one has studied or how many manifestation courses one has enrolled in. Why is that, brother Dr. Wesley? So let me start here. The law of attraction is real because it is rooted in a particular theo-scientific truth. In trying to access the power of the law of attraction, having no knowledge or understanding of this particular theo-scientific truth, robs you and I of the ability to fully access this law and make it real in our life. What do you mean, Brother Wesley? Theo-scientific truth. Theo as in theological. The law of attraction is rooted in a particular theological truth, and it is rooted in a particular scientific truth. In this theological truth and scientific truth converge into a single theo-scientific truth. And again, I state that absent a knowledge of and a proper understanding of this particular theo-scientific truth, one is not able to access the power of the law of attraction. Why so, Brother Wesley? And what is the theological truth behind the principle, the universal principle of the law of attraction? The truth behind and operative within the law of attraction is the truth articulated by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, that the black man is God. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us that the black man is the God of the earth. He is the creator. I want to move this. I don't care how you have been mistreated, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches us. Still, your father was a black man, and he is the one who created this earth and is now taking it over. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad says, we, the black man, have been God ever since we had a life germ in the universe. And the first life germ in the universe was us, the black man. This is very important, family. This is the theological truth at the root of the reality of the law of attraction. The black man is God. That reality infuses the law of attraction with its operational power. So the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad explains to us that how it is and what does it look like that the black man is God. What do you mean, Elijah, that the black man is God? In what way is the black man God? How does that manifest that the black man is God? The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, everything that we think is necessary, we can produce it and bring it to reality. If this house is sitting in our mind, but not yet built, I can bring it out of my mind into reality. That's the God. So understand, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is telling us that the power of God in us is precisely the power to conceive an idea in our mind and manifest that idea. Bring into physical actualization that which our mind conceives. Anything that our mind can conceive, we can bring it into reality, and that, family, is the power of God in us. Well, if everybody, family, if everybody reading Rhonda Byrne's The Secret can manifest, then everybody is God. Everybody is living their godhood. Because precisely the ability to have a thought and actualize that thought in the material world is the power of God in us. But it is not the case that the average human, including and beginning with the average black man and woman of America, the so-called Negro of America, it is not the case that we can tailor our life, design our life in our mind, and actualize that tailored life in our reality. We want to do that. If we could do that, black people would not be the universal sufferers that we are. The black man is God, and the power of God is the power to determine our reality by our thoughts. But the black man in America can't do that. What's the problem? What's the contradiction? Well, there is no contradiction. There's an aspect that's missing in our understanding of the law of attraction and how it works. If the black man is God, and the power of God in man is the power to visualize our desire and naturalize that vision in our reality, if that's the power of God in us and we are God, how is it that we can't manifest? Well, there's a second part of this equation. We are God, but we are dead gods, if you will, fallen gods. And that has direct implications for our understanding of the law of attraction and its operationalization in our life. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, the black man is God. He described the power of God in us. But he also said this. He said, quote, every one of you, according to what, I'm sorry, let me start. Started wrong. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said this. As you see, I am my own ruler. You young people, you want to be your own ruler. And you are not wrong for that. And you hope that the law of attraction gives you the autonomy, the sovereignty to be your own ruler in your life. You aren't wrong for that desire. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad says this in that regard. Listen close. As you see, Muhammad speaking, I am my own ruler. Those who follow me are coming along fine. They soon can go for themselves. Some of them, Muhammad's followers, are already going for themselves. This is what I want you to do. I want you to be yourself and rule yourself. But, he says, don't jump out before you get your diploma, lest you have to come running back to me. Wait until I tell you that you can go for self. Don't try it before you get your diploma or your degree in some part of this work. God and I love you so well that he sent me to tell you these things to make gods out of you. We have to be made gods. We have to engage in a process that will make us gods, that then will make us rulers and able to rule ourselves and go for self. Let's continue. Muhammad says, this is just what it is for. The Islam that God brought to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, this is just what it is for, to make gods out of you. You say, oh, I know that I will never be a god. Don't say that, Muhammad says, because you are already a god. He says, every one of you, according to what God has taught me, will be gods, will be gods, able to visualize and make your vision a reality. That's the power of God. And every one of us will be gods. But listen to what he says. There is no doubt that we are really gods, but we lost our power and knowledge, as shown by a parable of the Jesus. Quote, salt is good as long as it has saving power, but it is no longer, but when it no longer has saving power, it is not good for anything, but to be thrown out and trampled under people's feet. End quote. Muhammad goes on to say, this was referring to us, the black man of America. We had knowledge and we will be powerful when we are restored to what we originally were. But we have been robbed of power through depriving us of the knowledge of self. You are bowing to the creatures, the devil, instead of the Creator. Muhammad says, Allah has taught me that He would like to restore you. In the Bible, it says that He wants to restore you. You have lost everything of self. Now He wants to restore you back to self. Then you can do what we are preaching that He, God, is doing. We can't do what God Most High does today. God Most High can say, kun, be, followed by fa yakun, and it is. God, the Most High, can have a thought, and His thought will be realized on the planet with no frustration to His will whatsoever. That's God Most High. And Muhammad is telling us that God Most High wants to restore us and give that same power back to us. It says, then you can do what we are preaching that He, God, is doing. If you will believe and follow Him. He, God, didn't come here just to show us who He was. He came here to show us who He was, who we are, and then make us rulers. To be rulers, over rulers, you must have superior wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. So the theological truth behind the reality of the law of attraction is that it is not just a God power, but the God power within humanity. But most humanity has lost that power, the power of God in us. Humanity has fallen. The black man and woman of America, the so-called Negro, we are not in the God condition that we were. And so we are not able to exercise the God power that we once had. We have fallen. We have been robbed of the knowledge and power of our own being by an enemy. But Muhammad says, God Most High has come to restore us. Now, that's very critical for us to understand. The real power of the law of attraction, or should we say the law of manifestation, the real power of manifestation is a God power. In order to manifest at will, now, you have all over the earth human beings that accidentally manifest what they call gifts. ESP, telepathy, telekinesis. Individuals who, by birth, manifest these gifts. But every human being has these gifts. But the average human cannot at will call upon these gifts in the power of manifestation, the physical actualization of our thoughts in the real world. That's a God power in us that most humanity has lost. Now, that's a theology, the theological truth behind the reality of the law of attraction. What is the scientific truth at the root of the law of attraction? Did you know, family, that every human being has a light emanating from our cells? Our cells emit light. So every human has a what they call bioluminescence. The DNA within the human cell emits light called biophotons. Researchers and scientists have studied this bioluminescence, have analyzed these biophotons that emit from the DNA of all cells, especially human cells. What these investigations tell us is that the light and these biophotons manifest as both particles and electromagnetic waves. This light that emanates from the cells of every human, we can't see it from or with our naked eye because this bioluminescence is so weak. In fact, it is what's called ultra weak. Ultra weak. The luminosity of the human being, the light that emanates from the very DNA of the human being, while it is ultra weak, it is yet very powerful. In fact, science tells us that biophotons can not only communicate from cell to cell and from organism to organism, but biophotons can communicate irrespective of time and space. The most important scientific discovery of this bioluminescence, these biophotons that emanate from human DNA. The most important scientific discovery for our discussion is that the brain emits biophotons and the brain can impregnate these light particles with intention. And when the brain impregnates this bioluminescence, this light, these light particles, when the brain impregnates these particles with intention, with will, with desire, these photons travel as carriers of our intention. And in some cases, these biophotons can infect the external world according to the intentions that the particle was impregnated with. Now, we have to say sometimes because these biophotons in the current human state are ultra weak. So the average human who sends out biophotons into the real world and unknown to us, we've impregnated these biophotons with a thought. We don't realize that our world has been in one way or another impacted by the thought that we injected into these traveling biophotons. But in the human being, in our current condition, our bioluminescence is weak, and the DNA from which our biophotons are emitted is damaged. In order for biophotons to really express their true power, they have to emanate from healthy cells. But when you are talking about a people whose physiology has been scientifically assaulted, attacked, chemically attacked, our DNA has been damaged. So our biophotons are not only ultra weak, but they don't have the coherence as they would if they were emanating from healthy DNA. So we have hazardly impact our world unbeknownst to us. But a God can deliberately impact, consciously impact our world, but the so-called Negro can't do that. That's the difference between God and man. God is man awake. Man is God asleep. Fallen man, our bioluminescence is ultra weak. But God, his bioluminescence is ultra strong. So the scripture says God is light. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the original black man, the original God, when he emerged from triple darkness, he was light of himself. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the original God emitted light from the live atom of himself. And the religions of the ancient original man tells us that the sun in the sky, that brilliant light, is only a dim sign of the brilliant light of God himself. So God's bioluminescence is ultra strong, whereas fallen man's bioluminescence is ultra weak. And because God's bioluminescence is ultra strong, this is why he can say be and it is. There is nothing in existence that can frustrate the will or the intention of God Most High, because he can have an intent and summon his bodily light. He can send out his potent, ultra strong biophotons to bend matter to his will. That's the real truth of the power of the law of attraction. God is master of the law of attraction because God's bioluminescence is ultra strong, but ours, fallen humanity, yours and mine, ours is ultra weak. Point two. This is the other point necessary to understand in terms of understanding the actual use or non-use of the law of attraction by human beings. If most human beings cannot effectively take advantage of the law of attraction, this is the other reason right here. What are we looking at? We're looking at the energy matrix of two different brains. Explain that to us, Brother Wesley, and how is it relevant to the power of the law of attraction? The analogy, the appropriate analogy to what you are looking at here, dear family, is the difference between a lamp and a laser. A lamp and a laser. A lamp emits light in an incoherent manner, whereas a laser emits light in a coherent manner. And that means what? So a light bulb, the light that emanates from a light bulb, it's dispersed widely. But it's in its wide dispersal or diffusion, only about 5% of the light energy is accessible, is that available. In contrast to a laser, where the light is coherent, is disciplined. With laser light, 100% of light energy is available and accessible. And so what we are looking at here is a brain wave matrix on the left, number one, the brain wave matrix of the normal human being, whose brain wave matrix in our current state is like a lamp. The human brain expends energy in the form of heat and light, like a lamp, in a chaotic, incoherent manner, which diffuses its energy over a wide area, but of a rather limited depth. So the energy produced by the average human brain is incoherent and thus minimally powerful. Most of the light energy, light power that's expended, we don't have access to. Versus the brain energy matrix on the right, number two. A disciplined human brain or mind acts in the manner of a laser beam, which produces a disciplined stream of light that has total coherence of both frequency in amplitude and an enormous concentration of energy. And this enormous concentration of energy that can bend matter in the real world. But the average human, our fallen man, the dead God, our brain energy matrix is that of a lamp, not that of a laser, and it requires laser light frequency and amplitude of our brain energy to effectively utilize the power inherent in the law of attraction. So just reading books or taking a course does not allow us to tailor our life according to the law of attraction. The principle is right, but we need the power to effectuate it. Now, did you know, family, that the U.S. government, the military, and the CIA not only bears witness to the power of the law of attraction, but after taking a full 20 years at the cost of a full $20 million, the Department of Defense and the CIA studied the phenomenon, found it to be real, and turned the phenomenon into a trained, skill, and scientifically based intelligence methodology. The government not only knows the truth of the power of the law of attraction, but they have produced a methodology, a scientific methodology to use it, and that methodology is classified as top secret today. In a very important document released by the CIA, coming up out of its project Stargate, they call this process the gateway process. And what we call manifesting, the Department of Defense called patterning, the technique of achieving desired objectives in the physical, emotional, or intellectual sphere. The ability, they trained key operatives on how to scientifically have a desire, visualize it, and then cause the world to conspire to make it a reality. Now, so the issue, dear family, the law of attraction is real. The power of the law is real. But this is what we miss when we believe or assume that reading these self-help books alone will stimulate a change in our condition. For most of the human family, our thought energy is not strong enough to effectuate manifestation or the law of attraction. A dead Negro cannot deliberately and at will manifest. A living God can and does. And this is why the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, in closing, he gives the full program on how to effectively use the law of attraction, which he already told us that's the power of God in the human. But to access it, what do we have to do? This is what he tells us. Live right, think right, eat right, and do right. See, that's 4 distinct steps, family. 4 requirements. He said, live right, live according to the lifestyle that God himself brought. We have to live that life. Think right. We have to think the right thoughts. Because by thinking the wrong thoughts, we damage our brain cells, and therefore damaged cells equate to weak bioluminescence. Eat right and do right. All of this is necessary to put our body and our brain in a state where our power can return to us. So he says, by doing these 4 steps, live right, think right, eat right, do right, you will not have to die to go to heaven. See, that's the issue. We want to avail ourselves to the law of attraction because we want heaven in our life. And you should. That's promised us. And we in the Nation of Islam, we do not expect heaven when we die. We either going to get heaven while we live or heaven ain't for us. Because once we die, the possibility is gone. So the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that we will not have to die to go to heaven to be like the angels. You will be like the angels while you live. The power of God in us, the power to say be, and it is. That's the power of God. We can access it, but not by reading The Secret. We can access it, but not by taking a manifestation course. We can avail ourselves to this power by living right, thinking right, eating right, and doing right. All of this will help to restore our body, help to restore our brain, help to restore our cells and our neurons. And by doing so, that adds strength and power to the light in us, which is the light that carries our intention and imposes our will on the matter of our world. So yes, the law of attraction is real. The power, accessing the power of it requires the right lifestyle. And so Allah says in the Quran, he changes not the condition of a people until they change their own condition first. So we live right, think right, eat right, and do right. We will grow the power to manifest, to change our own condition. Assalamu alaikum, dear family.